Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I was in a previous Zoom and it wasn't working. Good to know. It's good now.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi. Hi, everyone from Yelena.
Hi, Elena.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
right.
How is everybody?
Wow.
Hello.
I don't know if we should wait a little bit. Can you hear
Hello,
me?
everybody.
Can you see the screen?
You're sharing the screen, yeah.
Okay, Ivo.
Yes, it's okay.
If it's okay for you, I will share it during all the presentation. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's best because I'm very bad at managing time.
Perfect. Perfect. So, So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Marina Torrano, and I'm in charge of this project at Casa Árabe, one of the partners in the Green Heritage Project, which is led by the Institute of Archaeology in Belgrade. For those who are not yet familiar with the project, I will share, or Basma, my colleague, will share a link to the program in the chat, where you can find more information about its objectives, activities, and partner organizations. Today's webinar is dedicated to the Green Heritage Good Practices Handbook, a publication that brings together inspiring examples of sustainable heritage management, research, international cooperation, and community engagement from across Europe. And we are delighted to begin with a presentation by we are delighted to begin with a presentation by Ivo Oosterbeek and Sara Nasi, who led the development of the handbook at Mapa das Ideias, a Portuguese organization specializing in cultural heritage, education, and social innovation. Following their presentation, we will hear from representatives of several initiatives featured in the publication. So they will share their experiences, discuss the challenges they have encountered, and reflect on the lessons they have learned while implementing these good practices in different contexts. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our first speakers, who are also partners, as I said, in the Green Heritage Project. First, we have Ivo Oosterbeek, an expert in archaeology, science, communication, and editorial design, with extensive experience in the design of with the design and management of European cooperation projects. Through his work at Mapa das Ideias, he has contributed to different initiatives focused on cultural heritage, sustainability, co-creation, and educational innovation. And joining him is Sara Nasi, project manager at Mapa das Ideias, with a background in social and organizational psychology. Her work focuses on social change, inclusion, education, human rights, and media literacy. And she has also extensive experience in coordinating social intervention and international cooperation projects. So before we begin, remind that the session will be recorded, and the recording will be kept as part of the Green Heritage Project website. And please keep your microphones muted during the presentation. And that's it. Feel free to use the chat to post any comments or question. And at the end of the session, after all the presentations, there will be a short time where you can share with us some questions or whatever you feel free. So Ivo and Sara, thank you very much for joining us today. And
Thank you, Marina.
the floor is yours.
Thank you. Do I start, Sarah? Do you want to start?
You want me to start?
No, I can start, but you
Okay.
interrupt me when you think it's appropriate.
Okay.
I think that this is one of it's a very interesting process, the process of producing this handbook, because it was a very distributed effort. It started even internally at MAPA. It started with our colleagues Catarina and Joana, who then passed the torch on to me and Sara. And it was an effort in which not just all of the partners of the Green Heritage Project cooperated, but an extensive list of other experts helped us with this. We had some goals with it within this when we were canvassing all these good practices, and two of the primary concerns we had when thinking about what could constitute the best practice in the scope of green heritage was both the measure of sustainability that is involved in a practice, and the other one was the measure of replicability. We weren't just interested in projects that were interesting, but would not be able to transfer to other contexts, because either because institutions don't tend to have enough funding or any other concerns. We were interested always in things that can reach critical mass through replication. Sarah, I don't know
Yeah,
if you...
it's Hugo. Okay.
No, I
nice.
know, no, I don't know if you want to add
It's
something,
okay.
or if we move on.
Move on.
So Marina, if you can change to the next slide. Because I think it's important to understand where this fits within the process of green heritage as a project. So as you've been following what we have been doing for a while, you'll notice that green heritage is a very experimental project. It's trying to consolidate a series of different dimensions, and to ensure that whatever we produce has a meaningful, sustainable life beyond the scope of the project. The team at the Institute of Archaeology designed this system with the support of the rest of the partners, in which there is essentially two phases of the project. A first one that is mostly concerned on setting an infrastructure for what happens in experimentation, then a second phase of the experimentation, which is the community labs that are now starting to take place in the project countries. The first phase was mostly interested in doing two things. One was the educational framework, setting it very, very robust framework that we could use to measure what we are doing. And this was something that was the subject of the previous session of this community of practice. And the second one was capacity building. And we set up capacity building in essentially three branches. One was training that was done by MAPA and by Maker Camp to the partners of the consortium. So it's a more closed thing. The second one was study visits between all the archaeological sites that participate in the project. And the third one was this handbook of best practices. So they are trying to create this learning ecology that will support whatever happens during the lab phase, the experimental phase of the project. And if you can move on, Sara, please cut me
Yeah.
off.
Okay, so our methodology follows three stages for this handbook. First, project partners and invited experts mapped existing initiatives across Europe, and they identified 142 practices. Second, each proposal was peer revised and at least by two partners, assessing its relevance, quality, innovation, and transferability, as Ivo was saying. And finally, as you can see, we selected 50 best practice and developed them into detailed case studies, highlighting not only what was done, but also why it worked and how it can be replied. I don't know, if do you want to add something?
No, that's it. That's it.
And then the handbook is organized into four thematic areas, as you know. The first one is focused on research and international cooperation. Marina was presenting that, and that's what we are presenting today. The second presents local heritage practice and territorial innovation. The third highlights school and youth projects, and the last one explores digital gamification. So we can move to the next slide. And Ivo, I give you the floor.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what we did was we found a double-sided way of delivering this information, because it's a lot of information, and it was a huge collaborative effort by a series of different experts. And at the end, we have more than 600 pages of information, which is almost impossible to navigate unless you have a lot of time. So we have a repository with all this information that is now being slowly added to the online repository of Green Heritage. But we also have a streamlined version of each of these 50 practices that allows practitioners to just skim through each of the practice and very quickly understand if it's a practice that is fit for their context or not. And if it is, then they can follow up through the lengthier version in the online repository. And I think this is it from our side, but I would also like to thank all the experts that were available to come and talk a little bit about their cases, because we were in doubt on whether we should be presenting everything, but it feels like it makes for a more lively community of practice if we start actually seeing more of us walking around. So thank you for everybody who is available to be here today.
Thank you.
So we have Sonia.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so ARCHAEOWILD is a scientific project that was funded by the Science Fund of the Republic of Serbia, and its main goal was to investigate how relationships between humans, wild animals, and the environment have changed during the last 11,500 years. And by combining archaeology, archaeozoology, archaeobotany, ancient DNA, and stable isotopes, and also historical sources, we reconstructed long-term changes in biodiversity and explored the roles of climate change and human activities. And why does archaeology matter for sustainability? Well, people often think that archaeology is only about the past. However, archaeological sites are also long-term environmental archives. Animal remains preserved at archaeological sites document changes in biodiversity, species distributions, and ecosystems over thousands of years. And this long-term perspective helps us to understand that biodiversity loss and environmental change did not begin in the modern era. They have deep historical roots. And I will now just tell you about one example from our research. It's an example on brown bears. Archaeological evidence and bones from archaeological sites show that brown bear populations began to decline during the prehistory, and they became increasingly fragmented through time, probably due to both climatic changes and growing human pressure. And ancient DNA told us a completely different story. During prehistory, bears belonged to exclusively local populations, and in contrast, the Roman period shows an exceptional increase in genetic diversity, reflecting the long-distance transport of bears from different regions for amphitheater spectacles. And together, archaeology and archaeogenetics allows us to reconstruct both ecological processes and human influence on wildlife over millennia. And I believe this is where ARCHAEOWILD, our scientific project, connects with Green Heritage, your project. Because archaeological parks should not only preserve cultural heritage, they can also become places where people learn about biodiversity, environmental change, and sustainability. And research results from our or some other projects can be transformed into educational activities that encourage visitors to analyze animal bones, reconstruct past environments, and discuss how human decisions have shaped ecosystems through time. And to finish, I would just like to emphasize that the main lesson from ARCHAEOWILD is that archaeology is not only about understanding the past. It provides this long-term scientific evidence needed to understand present environmental challenges and also to inspire more sustainable decisions in the future. Thank you.
Okay, would you mind during the next presentation sharing information about yourself and maybe the link of the websites?
Yes, shall I share it with you or send it by
Through
email?
the chat, maybe?
Yes, I will send link of
For
our
anyone who
project
is
and also,
interested.
yeah,
Sorry.
okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Javier?
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Well, my name is Javier. I come from Spain. I am an architect and I work as an architect in the College of Architects of Extremadura. And I will talk you about FEENERT. FEENERT is a European cross-border project focused on the restoration and the improvement of historic public buildings in rural areas. This project works in the Euro-ACE region between Spain and Portugal. This area includes Extremadura in Spain, but also Alentejo, and Região Centro in Portugal. This territory is mainly rural and has a rich heritage of traditional and historic buildings. These buildings are part of the cultural identity of this area, but they can also become an economic resource. If they are properly restored and reused, they can help to create employment, to support tourism, and revitalize these rural areas. However, this is not an easy task. Many of these buildings are old and need careful conservation. So at the same time, they must be adapted to current standards of comfort, quality, and energy efficiency. So there are also other difficulties, you can say. So, for example, the population decline in this area, the lack of specialized training, the loss of traditional construction skills, and regulations that are not always clear enough to make renovation easier. So FEENERT aims to develop practical tools, technical knowledge, and cooperation networks to improve the way how historic buildings are restored. So how are we going to do all this? Well, in this case, FEENERT approaches energy efficient renovation from a very broad point of view. It is not only about construction work, it is also about sustainability, innovation, rural development, and the circular economy. The project includes 5 main lines of actions. First of all, developing a methodology for the energy efficient renovation of traditional buildings, taking climate change, of course, into account. Then promotion of the innovation in traditional materials and construction system, improving energy performance and reducing environmental impact. Then updating technical information and documentation. So providing training and support for companies and small businesses working in construction and renovation. And of course, creating cooperation networks between researchers, builders, companies, professionals, experts, and public authorities on both sides of the border between Spain and Portugal. So the project will not remain only in a theoretical level. However, FEENERT will develop practical guidelines, organize training workshops, we are doing this now, and produce documentary material showing how traditional techniques can be applied in real renovation works. The tools and technologies developed within the project will be tested in 2 pilot buildings. One is in Portugal, in Herrera de Alcántara, in the north of the province of Cáceres, and the another one is in Elvas, which is a small city near the border. These pilot buildings will help to validate the methodology and will serve as a basis for future protocols and pre-standards in heritage energy renovation, which that for us is key. In both pilot projects, the process will include several stages. Like, for example, first of all, we make a preliminary monitoring of the building. Then we make an initial diagnosis. Then we make the computer model of the building. Then we execute the renovation works. After the works, we make a post-renovation monitoring again. And then we finally make an evaluation of the results and some adjustment and verification of the methodology that we are using. Well, finally, I can tell you that FEENERT will run for, well, it's raining, it's still raining, for 3 years until the end of this year of 2026. The project has a budget of about 2 million euros, which are co-financed by the European Regional Development Fund. And the partners are between them we have different partners with several profiles coming from different sectors like the research and innovation, the university, the public administration, and the companies and professional sectors in which we are, like the College of Architects. Well, I think that is more or less all. In summary, I can tell you that FEENERT is a project about heritage, innovation, and sustainability. Its goal is to show that traditional buildings can be restored in a way that respect their identity, improves their energy performance and contributes for the future of rural areas. So thank you very much for your attention. That's all.
So,
Hi there. Can you hear
hi.
me?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. Apologies in advance for a potentially poor connection.
no
As you can
worries.
see, I'm
We can
obviously
hear.
vacationing, but it is my pleasure to join the fourth Green Heritage webinar and to contribute to the purpose of your work and to exchange of knowledge and good practices among colleagues. My name is Dobrivoje Lale Edic, and I work at the Center for the Promotion of Science, which is based in Belgrade, in Serbia. And I will present you briefly today our recently finalized and implemented project called FASIH, which stands for Future Art and Science Industrial Heritage, which was co-founded through the Creative Europe program and implemented in 3 countries in Southeast Europe, in Croatia, Slovenia, and Serbia. Our goal, or maybe to put it better, our framework tackles industrial heritage, which probably isn't so visible and so active nowadays, and especially in the context of this project, which is dealing with well-established archaeological parks and traditional archaeological sites. However, we somehow identified this topic, and we wanted to align the theme of industrial heritage with contemporary research, with also modern artistic practices, and also with the use of multimedia tools and solutions in order to recreate or represent certain heritage values, concepts, stories, identities. Our common starting point was somehow aligning similar, or in some periods shared histories of our 3 countries in 19th and 20th centuries, and we selected 3 different but contemporary cities in our countries: Belgrade as a capital and the biggest city not only in Serbia but in all countries; Rijeka, which is a well-known industrial port and former industrial site on the Adriatic coast of Croatia; and Trbovlje, very small but very active and very adequate place when it comes to the industry and its heritage, because it is one of the founding places of the mining industry in Slovenia and also in former Austro-Hungarian Empire. And in our case, we wanted first of all to create some sort of methodology at different levels. The first one is about researching industrial heritage in order to create joint language, a sort of common dictionary among partners and external parties. The second one was about sharing knowledge and stories, and also trying to document the heritage which still mostly exists, but its destiny is usually quite negative, and most of site of industrial heritage, not only in our surrounding, but I would say globally, is probably about to diminish, to be destroyed and literally erased from the place due to, of course, ongoing constructions and different trends and tendencies nowadays. Finally, we involves arts and creativity as a medium, as a way to emphasize these collective stories, to create narratives that can communicate beyond professional groups, beyond interesting individuals, to create some kind of attempts, approaches, or practices that are able to reach, let's say, general audience and, of course, youth, school children and students, in order to somehow share the meaning and potential values of industrial heritage, and also what that part of our recent history mean to the creation of modern places and cities in 19th and 20th century. And in doing so, we made several rounds of workshops in order to share our methodology, and also to present our findings and our materials, but also to collect additional information. And then, based on these rounds, open calls for the submission of project proposal that are modern art and science practices. Our idea was to have a group of researchers and artists working together on certain subjects in all three.
We have lost him, right?
Yeah. It cut off, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, it's totally blocked.
I can I understand him. My Wi-Fi is also very bad. I'm also on vacation, so completely understandable.
hello, Elena. Okay, so I don't know if maybe we could start with the next one or
Maybe, yeah, because if it's outside, he may not get connection
okay.
back so quickly.
Yeah, we are short of time, so maybe we will start with the next one, and then if he's back,
Yeah.
okay. He's back.
Yes?
Let's see. Yeah.
Well, hi there, I'm back.
Hello.
Apologies, it's very
Hey.
difficult to speak from a Greek beach, though it's very pleasant to be on one and to have such a wonderful setup and overview. I don't know if I can share this with you, but it's really magical. Yeah. Nevertheless, after these rounds of learning workshops and after opening up calls, we made the selections of winning proposals in all three countries. And then we had up to 9 months to work with them to develop this project and to prepare them to be premiered at the 3 parallel exhibitions that were held in June last year, so exactly a year ago in all 3 places, in Trbovlje, in Rijeka, and in Belgrade. And finally, to, let's say, collect all materials, all information, and also to make let's say a wider community or wider environment of people interested of this kind of assessment of the industrial heritage. We prepared the final conference that was held at the University of Rijeka in Croatia also in June last year, and in a way that marked the closing the closing point of our collaboration. The project is closed, finalized, and also we are planning its let's say continuation, or maybe to develop just to focus on certain aspects of this, because we see a lot of potentials and a lot of values and a lot of adequate achievements in this regard. However, we are still neglecting, as we are not certain whether to go more into research area or more to focus on artistic practices, or just to select certain topics that we're dealing with. So I will share in the chat now the link towards project landing page. Please contact me or let us know if you would like to join this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have the next one.
Hello.
Maria. Hello.
Hello, everyone. And first of all, thank you to the organizers for including Green Heritage Initiative as an example of good practice. I'm Maria Dragišić from Belgrade, from Green Art Incubator, and I will present our project, Green Heritage Initiative. The project supports the green transformation of organizers and organizations and institutions working in the cultural heritage protection. And our main goal was to encourage actually that in heritage institutions, especially those responsible for renewable cultural heritage, preservation of renewable cultural heritage, to become active participants in the green transition. We wanted to help them introduce environmentally responsible practice in their everyday work and adopt their strategies so they can better respond to the challenges of climate change. The project was supported by European Heritage Hub Small Grants scheme, and then and was implemented between May 2024 and March 2025. It was carried out by a multidisciplinary team brought together by Green Art Incubator, Vladimir Đorđević, Ksenia Marković-Božović, Tijana Mićanović, Jovana Karaulić, Milica Grilović, and Marija Dragišić. The project consists of 5 main components. First one was research, and we started by mapping existing environmental practices in institutions responsible for the protection of immovable cultural heritage in Serbia. The survey was conducted during the September and October 2024 and included 23 institutions. And the aim of this research was to understand how these institutions currently approach environmental sustainability and to identify where green practices could be introduced most effectively. The second component of this project, actually the main component, was the toolkit, Safeguarding Cultural Heritage in the Age of Climate Crisis toward green practices, was created to help professionals better to understand the relation between cultural heritage and the climate crisis. And one of its key messages, the cultural heritage is both affected by climate changes, but it can also be a part of the solution. And the toolkit offers practical recommendations that institutions can apply in their everyday work. And because of heritage professionals work both in office and on site, the recommendations are divided into the 2 sectors, actually. And the third project activity was the webinar, where we presented both what we research, what was our research findings, and the toolkit to professionals from the immovable cultural heritage sector. And the webinar brought together experts from different disciplines and involved in climate change and heritage transition. Fourth outcome was the Green Book of Recommendations for Policymakers. This publication provides practical recommendations for decision makers and aim to support the integration of environmental sustainability into cultural heritage policies. And finally, our project conclude with the International Online Conference, Cultural Heritage and Climate Crisis from Conservation to Action, where we presented project's results and exchange experts experience with experts from different countries. And the Green Heritage Initiative show that introducing green practices into the heritage sector does not necessarily require major investments. Many positive changes can begin with the small steps in everyday work, better planning, or better or greater awarenesses. And at the same time, cultural heritage should not only be seen as something that needs protection from climate change, but also as an important resource for that can be contribute to the more sustainable future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello, my name is Tatjana Sekulic, and I'm a professor at Academy Polytechnica in Belgrade, and I have a PhD in biology. And during last few months, my colleagues and me were working on collecting of existing best practices at regional, national, and international level. And this all led to the development and delivery of a Green Heritage Handbook of Best Practices. And during this phase, the team from our academy conducted extensive research, and among many practices, we selected the 7 to elaborate, mainly IPA and Interreg projects between Serbia and Hungary. The reason we selected these is because each of these practices have aspects that are important and can be adopted and applied to our Green Heritage project. At this moment, I will not name all of the practices we selected, but I would like to refer to the project you see on your screens, and that is Youth and Heritage, Tradition and Future in the Cross-Border Region, with acronym HER in Future. The project consortium includes partnership between cultural institutions, youth organizations, and public institutions from Serbia and Hungary working on heritage education and cross-border cooperation in the period 2020 till 2022. This project is designed to promote cultural heritage awareness and strengthen youth participation in heritage preservation in the Serbia and Hungary border region. The target group is the same as the target group in Green Heritage Project and is actively engages young people ages 13 to 18 by providing educational activities. And by targeting young people as primary audience, the project recognizes that raising awareness among younger generations is essential for the long-term sustainability of cultural heritage preservation. The Green Heritage Project could adopt similar approaches by developing educational programs, as we did through our pedagogical framework, and interactive activities designed specifically for young participations. HER in Future project can also be considered as a good practice for Green Heritage Project because it promotes awareness of cultural heritage preservation while encouraging sustainable educational approaches and cross-border cooperation. By focusing on youth engagement and increasing knowledge about heritage, the project helps ensure that future generations understand the importance of protecting cultural and historical resources. This project also highlights the importance of intercultural exchange in the heritage education, which I personally think is very important. And by bringing together young people from different cultural backgrounds, the initiative promotes dialogue in mutual respect for the diverse cultural traditions. Although the HER in Future project does not explicitly focus on gamification as a central methodology, it incorporates the digital technologies and interactive learning tools that can increase engagement among young participation in ways similar to gamifying learning environments. As you can see on the slide, they developed application HER in Future 3060 guide, which can be installed to Android or iOS platform and is your personal mobile guide to discover the rich cultural and historical heritage of South Bačka in Serbia and Skongar-Ksanat region in Hungary. And overall, to conclude about this project, is that it demonstrates that successful heritage protection strategies should combine education, youth participation, intercultural dialogue, and modern communication methods. And I think that will be my conclusion for this project. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tanya. So now we have Barbara.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for inviting us to be part of this group of good practices in green heritage. We are very happy to be joining you. So I'm going to introduce our project and our organization. We are a small foundation, Fundación Las Fuentes. We are private and very recent. We actually created the foundation in 2002 and started working in 23. So this project is only 3 years old. And our main asset is our knowledge of the Islamic world. We work with OIC countries, the Islamic countries, but also we are interested in the Islamic heritage in Europe, particularly in Spain, Portugal, Italy, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and other parts. So our project is called the Andalus Medina Network. And it comes from the fact that most people think Al-Andalus was a civilization that extinguished and mainly lived in Andalusia. But actually, Al-Andalus continues to bring lots of ideas in science and technology to the present day. And it actually extended throughout the whole of the Iberian Peninsula, including Portugal and Spain, or most of what is currently Portugal and Spain. The fact is that most people identify Al-Andalus with Cordoba or Granada, but we have more than 4,000 locations in both countries, which boast Islamic heritage from the Andalusi period. So the network had different purposes. First is to make an inventory of the existing material and immaterial heritage. Second is to connect these isolated and rural small enclaves that still have Islamic heritage to bigger places from which we can move tourists, particularly, but also events and contents, cultural contents. So the network works to enhance and help develop rural settings, which would like to work around their Andalusi heritage. And depending on the place, we work with different kind of projects, depending on their ability, depending on their heritage they have. We design different kinds of projects specifically for that enclave. So I'm going to give you an example from Mértola, which is a small city in Portugal, in Alentejo. Javier may know about it because they're working with this region. So Mértola is a small village, about 15,000 inhabitants, rural environment, and they have Roman, Islamic, and other heritage. They wanted to value their Islamic heritage. They already have a small museum, the castle, the mosque, church. They have a series of buildings, and they wanted to build a contemporary hammam. So to build this hammam, they wanted to recreate the Andalusi. Hammam is a public bath, right? Like a sauna, but not exactly. So they wanted to recreate the Andalusi style hammam, like what were the practices, what would people do when they went into a hammam, what products would you find there? At the end of the research and the report and the plan to open this hammam, another twist of the project is to promote local and circular economy. So instead of outsourcing these products from other countries or other places, the essential oils, the soaps, the towels, everything is going to be produced locally. So one single tourist element, in this case it's a touristic element, it can be cultural another type. But in this case, the point of the network is to connect it with other locations to move people forward to the different points, to create new routes, and also to promote the exchange of good practice and local economy. So basically, this is the project is self-funded. We fund it with our own income we mainly do training about diplomatic, trade, or geopolitical issues with the Islamic world. And we are self-funding this project. We have occasional grants or aids to move it forward, but it's designed to be sustainable. So every member of the network pays a small quota to keep the project running. Our website is visitalandalus.org. So I'm going to give it here in the chat so you can have a look at our website. And if you ever come to Cordoba, you're very welcome. We'll be happy to have you. Thank you.
So thank you. We are done with the presentations. I don't know if Ivo or Sara would like to add something before the question session. Or
no, I'd like to thank people again, everybody. It was super fun to meet most of the presenters we had never seen before, right? We just been reading your information without really knowing anybody, so it's fun to meet people finally. And this is of course just one of the sections that we have in the best practices. This is the most international and research heavy section of practices. The other ones are a bit more focused, but it already kind of shows. Okay, it already I hope gives a good indication of the wide scope that of practices that we have, because we wanted to ensure that whoever is browsing this has wider a range of possibilities in their hands as possible before they take practice. Don't know if Sara wants to say something.
No, I think you said everything. Thank you, Ivo.
So thank you, everyone. We are now opening the discussion or the question and answer session. So feel free to share with us all you need. I don't know if anyone have. Yeah.
Well, I don't have any questions, but if you ever find any opportunity to connect your projects with ours, of course, we are very happy to exchange practices or other ideas in the future. We are now starting to work with AI, which is both challenging but interesting. And well, I think in the future, we may have to look into that in detail to see how AI can help us. Because one of the main problems we have in our project is to gain more outreach. And I don't know, when we talk about our project with other people working in archaeology or heritage or sustainable practices, it seems like outreach is and ensuring people are interested and participate seems quite limited. And I don't know if it's your case, but sometimes it's difficult to engage people in cultural projects or in projects which are about heritage. And I mean, not only partners, but also the public. I don't know if this has been your experience and if you have any tips to give us.
If I may add to this, thank you so much for this notice and proposal. The purpose of this Green Heritage Community of Practice is to gather people who join and who share the same interests and share same ideas and who are striving to projects, cooperation, collaboration, whether we are speaking about these international European projects, or we can talk about joint publications or some popular lectures, whatever it is. So please use this platform as a resource and base for search of partners, search of collaborators. If you still not join our community of practice, there is very simple sheet where you will put your data and you will be in the base. And if you have these ideas, like the one you exactly now shared, please write to Marina and Casa Arabe your proposals on some webinar for the future, because we will have this summer break because of the holidays. And it would be nice then to continue with maybe this more how to say, by topic community of practice webinars, where we can share our thoughts, our issues that we are facing, like this: how to search for a partner, how to organize an event, how to inspire local community to participate, to be involved, to be engaged. So I think that each of us has some good potential and nice experience to be shared with others, and these are very good lessons that we can learn from each other. So please use exactly this platform for this type of communication and for this type of future proposing topics that are, how to say, tackling us during our work. So very good point, and thank you for this. And I would like, from my side, sorry for not seeing me, but I'm also on vacation and I just came from the beach. So I would like to say that each of you, even with these best practices, contributed to us learning a lot from each of you. And you exactly shared today, and this is only the first session about best practices that we collected in a book. It is nice to connect faces with projects, and that is also telling a lot about projects. And finally, we will see each other more from September. Thank you all for sharing this, for contributing. And I would like also to say special thanks to our partners and experts from Serbia, from whom we really learned a lot. And particularly, when you have these European projects, this green heritage is because the topic is green in latest calls. There are a lot of green heritage, and when we saw green art incubator and green heritage initiative, we wanted immediately to meet Maria and her team, and we learned also a lot from them, and they work on policies. And now I see that they are doing a nice job in their institution regarding this mentorship book. So many nice collaborations are happening thanks to this project. So people just use this opportunity, stay with us, share with us everything that you think would be valuable to share with us, and propose topics for the future. And thank you one more time for this inspiring session.
Thank you, Yelena. So I will send you, all of you, an email with an evaluation form and another form if you want to join the community of practice. So yeah, you will have it this afternoon in the email. Okay. So yeah, we can keep listening. Any question or comments? No one? So maybe we can close. I would like to thank everyone, our partners and all of the members who are here. And I hope you the best, and hope you have a nice weekend. So
Thank you, everyone.